Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the difference between weight loss and fat loss. What is the difference? What is weight loss? What is fat loss? Are those two things the same? Like, I thought, weight loss is just like, you lose weight, you see the scale dropping down, and therefore I lose weight. The thing is, weight loss is not the same thing as fat loss. And if you're focusing on weight loss, you should switch your focus. And the reason behind this is because when you're purely chasing, the scale weight and, the scale number, well, what's going to happen is, let's say that you are 300 pounds, right? And you want to get to 200 pounds because you want, that's your goal, right? The problem really is, I mean, that is okay. That is better than staying at 300 pounds, right? But the problem is when you're getting down to those 200 pounds and when you're chasing that 200-pound mark, what's going to happen is you're going to lose fat, that is sure. But what's also going to happen is you're going to lose other tissue as well. And that is going to be muscle mass, that is going to be water, there's going to be organs mass, there's going to be, your skin, your bones, even like the mass from other tissue that's not fat. And the problem here is we need that other tissue. We don't need fat, but we need other tissue. We need muscle, we need water, we need organs mass, right? We don't want to lose those things. And when you focus just on the scale, the problem becomes like your metabolism is going to crash, you'll feel low energy, you'll be tired all day, and you're just going to be weak. And you're not going to actually enjoy being slim, right? So the key really is to distinguish the difference between weight loss and fat loss. In weight loss, when you're chasing weight loss, you're losing muscle, you're losing everything and fat. But when you're focusing on fat loss, you're just losing fat. And you're preserving muscle, you're preserving your strength, you're preserving the water in your muscles and in your organs, you're preserving the organs mass, you're preserving, the tissue, other tissue that's, anabolic and therefore, is going to help you even lose fat even faster. And you're preserving those things when you focus on fat loss rather than weight loss. And I see this all the time. Most men come and hey, I just want to drop 50 pounds. I just want to drop 100 pounds, and that is okay. That is totally okay. Like, you're going to lose a big chunk of fat, but hey, like, we don't want to lose muscle also. We don't want to lose organs mass. We don't want to lose bones mass, right? We just want to lose fat because fat is what we don't want. And we want more of the muscle and more of the organs and those anabolic things. So most like men come to me and tell me, hey, I just want to get lose 50 to 100 pounds, and I tell them, right, that is okay. Like, we're going to be doing that, but like the thing is, we should drop 50 to 100 pounds like as you want, but fat. So let's do it the proper way. And let's not chase the scale, but chase fat loss scale down, right? Now, the thing is, like, we don't have these fancy, body scans and, DEXA body scans and all of that stuff that's going to tell you exactly, like, how much fat do you have? And, exactly how much fat are you losing, right? We don't have that. But we can do some actions that are going to help us lose fat and preserve muscle and not lose fat and muscle, right? So there are actions that you can do to focus on fat loss and not on weight loss. I'm going to go over some of them right now. So the first thing is, when you're focusing just on weight loss, what you can do is you can just be in a calorie deficit, and you're going to be seeing you're going to see the weight dropping down, right? So let's say that your body needs 3,000 calories to function right now at 300 pounds, and you just eat 1,000 to 500, 1,000 calories, 2,000 calories around that. You're going to be eating probably very little, which is a bad thing. But you're going to lose weight. But what's going to happen, as I just mentioned before, like, you're going to be losing muscle, and we don't want that. We don't want to be unhealthy. We want to be healthy, fit, happy, and all of those things. We don't want to lose weight and lose health as well, right? but you can pretty much just lose weight and lose like see the scale dropping down see the number on the scale dropping down, but just focusing on a calorie deficit, right? And this is pretty much the only thing that you need for weight loss. But as I said, the problem comes, you're going to lose muscle and you're going to lose all of those things. And most guys, when they're trying to lose weight, they focus on really big calorie deficit, as I said. So they eat only very little amounts of food throughout the day, and they're just pretty much living like eating like a pigeon, like they are not a man, and that's really bad. Like I just went over why that is bad. The same way that you are like a bit overweight right now, the same like it's going to feel the same if you're like really skinny and have no muscle, have no strength, and lost a bunch of those things, those anabolic things we want as a man, as men, right? So really, if you want to just lose weight, you can just create a big calorie deficit and you're going to be losing weight. We don't want that. We want fat loss. We want to be losing just fat and not muscle, not organs mass, not water. We don't want to be losing as those things as well. We just want to be losing fat. How do you lose fat while preserving those things? First of all, you need a calorie deficit, right? Like you're not going to lose weight if you are not in a calorie deficit. Now, the thing is, we don't want to go in such a big calorie deficit. We want to go in 500 to 1000 calorie deficit, right? So that means that if your body right now, if your TDEE number, and you can use online TDEE calculators for this. TDEE is basically total daily energy expenditure. That's basically how much your body needs right now, calories. Calories basically is energy to function right now at its current weight. And what you do is you take that number, you subtract it by 500 to 1000, and you create this calorie deficit, right? And 500 to 1000, that is a safe amount. Of course, we don't want to go like for years with this calorie deficit. We just want to lose fat, build while preserving muscle, and then go back to our normal healthy calorie intake, and then just maintain that fit body that we have with normal calorie intake and normal eating and all of those things, right? So that is the first thing. Create a calorie deficit, but that's not too big. Like here we're talking about like 1500 to like 2000 calorie deficit. Like this is like that's what's going to wreck your metabolism. That's what's going to slow the whole thing down. That's what's going to make you feel weak and all of those things, and lose like every single good tissue in you. We don't want that. We just want fat loss, right? Remember, just fat loss. This is what we want, right? We want fat loss. Cool. Now, once we know that, let's go and back to this. So the second thing you need high protein intake. High protein, right? You need extremely high, not extremely high, but you need high protein intake. Why? Protein is a macronutrient that preserves and builds muscle. And when you eat a lot of protein, what's going to happen is that despite you being in a calorie deficit, despite your body being in a catabolic state, which is a state of destruction, which we basically need to be because we want to, destruct fat cells and we want to kill those fat cells. Despite that, protein is a macronutrient that's going to help you build muscle. That's going to help you preserve that muscle, and we want that muscle. And it also has a thermic effect on food. So that means that protein takes a lot of calories to digest. So that means that you're going to be burning even more calories while eating more protein. And protein is one of the most important fat loss macronutrient. Like if you are trying to lose fat, protein, you must be eating a lot of protein. So you might be wondering how much protein should you be eating. Well, it's basically 1 gram per pound. Now, with that being said, if you are 300 pounds, you can go away with 200 to 250 pounds of 250 grams of protein per day. But the point is, you don't want to be eating less than, let's say, 150 grams of protein, right? We want to be eating a lot of protein, having a lot of meat, and having a lot of tuna, chicken, steak, eggs, all of those things. That's protein. And when you feed yourself a lot of these meals, and you have a lot high protein intake, what's going to happen, as I said, is that despite you being in this calorie deficit, you're telling your body, hey, preserve my muscle and build even more muscle while just burning this fat down here that I don't want, right? And this is crucial, right? So as I said, like 1 gram to per pound. Now, if you are a bit, about let's say 300 pounds, that is alright. Just about 200, eat about 200 grams per day of protein. Then the next thing that you need, and that is crucial, is you need strength training or resistance training. So strength training, basically, why is this important? This is important because with strength training, you are, again, telling your body that, hey, I want this muscle to be here, and I just want this fat to be, like, I don't want this fat, but I want this muscle, and I want this happy, healthy life. And that's what you're telling your body when you strength train, when you go to the gym, and when you lift heavy weights, and when you push through the workouts, and when you're actually going all in, right? When you're doing bicep curls, when you're doing bench press, and all of those things. That is what's strength training. And with strength training, the most important thing that you need to focus on is proper form, and you need to be progressively overloading your muscle. Your muscles you won't be sending signals to your muscle to, hey, stay there. You won't be sending those signals if you're not progressively overloading muscle. And what is progressively overloading muscle? That's basically you either lifting more weight or more reps over time, week by week, let's say, or workout by workout on your exercises. So for example, if you do 10 reps and for 2 sets of bench press, well, let's say 150 pounds, what's going to happen is if you stay at 150 pounds and 10 reps for 2 sets or 3 sets, what I just said, for remaining of this fat loss phase, what's going to happen is you're not sending any signals to your muscle to preserve and to stay there and to grow even more. So you need to be either doing, let's say you do 150 pounds bench press today for 10 reps for 3 sets. The next week you should be doing about 11 reps with 150 pounds for 3 sets, right? So you got a rep more, and you should be challenging your muscle to grow. Like, you should be challenging like yourself, like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this much weight, right? That's what you want, and you go ahead and you do it, and that way you send signal to your muscle, hey, grow, or hey, stay where you are, right? Don't let me down. Like, I want you there. I want to build a fit body. I want to build a healthy body. I want to be lean, and I want to be have confidence, and I want to all of those things, and I need you there for that, right? I don't want to lose weight. I want to lose just fat. Fat is what I don't want, right? And with strength training and with progressively overloading muscle, of course, with proper form, you're going to accomplish this. So as I said, like, the most important thing with strength training, it is that you keep a form and that you progressively overload muscle. You either increase your reps or you increase your weight, workout by workout or week by week. Workout by workout is if you're a beginner and if you're just starting out. Week by week is if you're already a bit intermediate, and month over month is if you're really advanced. But I don't think that you would watch this video if you are really advanced at lifting weights and fat loss and all of those things. So the fourth and probably the thing that everybody needs to hear in today's day and age, I assume, is basically sleep, right? So you need to be sleeping, right? There has been study done in about in like 2012 or 2011, where they took a group of men, and one group of men slept for 5.5 hours, and then the other group of men slept for 8.5 hours, and the difference was huge. It was huge, and it showed what how much of importance it is to focus on sleep if your goal is fat loss and not weight loss. So they have found that the man who slept 5.5 hours on average, like 5.5 hours per night, lost about 60% more fat-free mass. Fat-free mass is muscle tissue, organs tissue, bones mass, right? All of those things. They lost 60% more of those things and 55% less fat than the 8.5 hour sleep group. So this just goes to show and prove how much sleep is important. So sleep is extremely important if your goal is fat loss and not weight loss. This is pretty much it. Sleep for about, I would say, 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. I mean, like after going through the study, I was like, 7 hours, like it's bad. Like you need to be at least getting 8+ hours. But if you really can't get 7 hours, if you really can't get 8 hours, then go with a 7 or 7.5. Try to maximize your sleep hours. They're really going to help you lose fat and not weight. Help you lose fat and not muscle and not organs tissue and your bones tissue. And we don't want that. We don't want to feel weak. We don't want to have no strength, but we want to have no fat and have a lot of strength, a lot of lean, healthy, attractive muscle, right? We don't want to get bulky. We don't want to be bodybuilders. We just want to be healthy, fit, strong, capable man. And this is what's important for you. So focus on fat loss, ditch the weight loss. Don't focus on the scale. Focus on actually these 4 things, and that's what's actually going to help you lose fat. Shut the fat down while keeping your muscle, and just living life, having a good life. So that is it for this video. If you want our personal help, one-to-one coaching where we take you and we do step-by-step guide you how you can lose fat and get fit, click the first link below, book a call to talk with either me or someone from my team, and we'll see how and if we can help you and if you're the right fit for our coaching program. So that is it for this video. Book a call if you're interested, and talk soon.